501.
Well, that's
Lord, item 501, Lord, the learned AG is in court to another constitution bench, Lord, he is assisting. Lord, we have circulated the proposed issues, but there was one suggestion, Lord. There is a list of matters which we have bifurcated in 3 categories, if your lordships have, Lord.
Where is that?
Page 3 of the note, Lord, which we circulated.
जरा दे दो मुझे एक घंटा
this.
Go to number 1. I don't know where.
Yes.
So the city is regulated.
Yes, Mr.
May I, Lord, if your lordships can, my Lord, may I request your lordships to come to page 3 of this?
Please use the mic. Solicitor.
My Lord, just in this. I'm sorry, my apologies. Page 3 of the note.
Yes.
We have categorized, my Lord, all the matters in 3 categories. Category 1 is, my Lord, concerning section 6A of the Citizenship Act. My Lord, that is kind of a parent question, my Lord, which if decided, your lordship may not have to right now go into category 2 and 3. Category 2 is NRC issue. Well, someone has challenged NRC validity, etc. The procedure, rules, some of them challenge, my lord, validity of the rules. But again, dependent upon what my lords decide on the first category. And third is, my lord, foreigners tribunal.
Right.
So that these are, my lord, SLPs against the orders, etc. My lord, that is completely a different issue. Sometimes, my lord, we request that tag it, and that's how, my lord, it seems to have been tagged. We means not the government, on our side, you know, the bar. So, my lord, if your lordship can consider taking up category 1, subject to, my lord, lord hearing other side, then, my lord, rest can be staggered and can be decided later. Otherwise, it will become very, very confusing.
This category also.
Well, that's what we've done for your, I'm sorry.
In the category 1,
Well, that's what we've done for your lordships, is that sent your lordships a compilation of all the issues, all the questions of law that have been framed by each council. That's in a compilation. I can give a hard copy, but it's also been sent to your lordship.
Look, that is page 1 of my
It's
note.
already there. There. That's yes.
Yes,
But that's his
page
note.
1,
Other council have framed other issues.
Mr. Sibil, if you
All that is.
It's all right. So we have first the draft issues as approved by the Attorney General
yes,
and chart segregating the matters, then suggestions of Mr. Kapil Sibil, Senior
Yes,
Counsel.
yes,
Then comments on the draft issues by Mr. Tushar Dave, Senior
Yes,
Counsel.
yes.
Then we have one from Mr. Manish Goswami, Mr. Ankit Yadav, and Mr. Somiran Sharma.
correct. Well, so what your lordships can do is, Malas, formulate in the context of all the various issues, what the issues should be, Malas, and then we'll argue, Malas, on that basis. That's what I might
decide,
But on the
What we were suggesting
categorization, we have
was
no
that
problems, Malas.
since all of you have now given your suggestions,
Yeah.
why don't you all sit down together for 15 minutes and give us the agreed issues on the basis of this?
Well, that's-
For instance, item number, Mr. Sibil has said, with regard to issue number 3 relating to Article 14, it is suggested that the issue same may be removed in view of issue number 1.
Correct,
already
because the
dealing with
first-
Article.
That's correct.
Yeah, right.
I agree to that. It's encompassing the first issue.
Actually, this categorization put section six
Yes,
A.
categorization.
All challenges to section six A will be under one head according.
Correct.
So those are all grounds on which we are challenged. Whether
That's correct.
Whether 6A is valid or not, well, that's the only issue.
One issue that we had tracked, my lord, appearing for the All Assam Students Union, which was a signatory to the historic Assam Accord, which brought in 6A for restoration of water. My lord, we had made a suggestion based on the reference order of 17 December 2014 that the primary issue should be that whether 6A constitutional validity should be actually, my lord, gone into at least, and what would be the repercussions and consequences, which is a question that has been formulated by the learned AG. We are only requesting for it to be treated as a preliminary issue.
We'll consider it after.
No,
the-
my lord, this is not the only issue. There are other issues, my lord.
That's all right.
Yes.
That's my
They are
suggestion.
trying to express their perspective.
That the issue of the
Assam's perspective is
constitutional
not the end of the
validity
world.
of 6A be decided upfront.
Yes.
Once your lordships decide that, then the other matters can be taken up, depending on how your lordships decide.
Issue, my lord, would be, would your lordships, my lord, in a writ jurisdiction go into the question, which is the subject matter of something which happened, my lord, before 40 years? So the question of delay is also one of the essential.
That's a matter of submission,
Possibly.
really.
Correct,
That's a
correct,
matter of
correct.
submission.
My lord,
We'll do
that
of course,
aspect has already been gone into by the reference judgment, my lord. Regarding delay in approaching, that aspect has already been taken care of. Only thing is, in view of some right which is being enjoyed by this category of people, when it comes to molding of relief, what could be the approach? That is perhaps what was
now is
indicated
this.
in the reference
We
judgment.
have draft issues.
One second, my lord, let my lord the Chief Justice.
We have the draft issues before us, which have been prepared by the learned AG. So the first issue there is the validity of section 6A.
That's right.
So we will decide the issue of 6A first.
Correct.
So that we can say that initially we'll frame the following issue for submissions, namely whether section 6A of the Citizenship Act 1955, it says it violates articles 14, 21 and 29(1) and offends 5 to 10, 11, 325, 326 and 355. The first two issues I think are.
Correct.
What is also is.
Anything else will arise after that. Well, let's first decide that, then your lordships can decide what to do thereafter.
Two also, my lord, can be merged. Some additional articles are mentioned.
It can be common also.
So what we can say is whether 6A of the Citizenship Act 1955 is ultra vires, we can say, or suffers from any constitutional infirmity.
That's correct. That's correct.
Right? So we'll say that.
Another.
And then second, so that covers 1 and 2.
Yes,
3 is also subsumed.
yes.
Now 4 is the statutory ultra vires. It says whether 6A violates the fundamental basis of 5(1) proviso and 5(2) of the Citizenship Act. So do
Well,
we
this 4 doesn't really come into the picture because it talks of East Pakistan, Malaj, and it talks about Bangladesh. Those reciprocity, that's fully irrelevant. There was no question of reciprocity either from Bangladesh.
So what presently we will do is we will frame.
So this should be dropped, Malaj. This should be dropped.
My lord,
Presently, let me just say 1 second. Presently, the following issue is framed for primary determination for the Constitution Bench, whether section 6A of the Citizenship Act 1955 suffers from any constitutional infirmity.
That's fine.
That covers.
Perfect.
that will be all comprehensive.
Or violates any statutory, because issue number 4,
All those.
My lord, issue number 4 is the very relevant, my lord. With great respect, I'll submit. Because when we
So
go,
what we'll do is, we have framed that primarily as the issue which we are going to discuss.
broad issues, my lord.
This does not prevent us, once we start opening the
Correct.
matter, we'll frame something more.
Correct.
Would your
It's not
lordship,
like a civil suit that, then.
our lordship may keep one residuary issue, my lord, where we can all bring.
lord, would your lordship see issue 9, my lord? for
9,
Kind consideration, my lord? 8 and 9, my lord. 8 would be, my lord, part of an argument, but still kindly see whether the Assam Accord, a memorandum of settlement between Union of India, the state of Assam, all Assam student unions, and all Assam Gana Sangram Parishad arrive at for resolving a long pending issue, being a political settlement and a matter of great policy importance, can at all be judicially reviewed at this stage, as courts will decline to enter into political thicket and annual matters and annul matters of such magnitude and with immense consequences.
But that's an argument in support of upholding 6A. Madam.
I
It's an
agree.
argument.
This was
Nine-
an argument, it can't be an issue, my lord.
Can't be an issue.
Nine, only a minute. Nine, whether delay is a factor that can be taken into account in fashioning reliefs in a petition filed under 30.
Therefore, Mr. Solicitor, we take it that your submission is that 6A is valid.
Yes.
Additionally, of course, it's not constitutionally ultra vires, but it is valid also for the reason that when the government has enacted a statute to give effect to an accord and consistent with the delay, therefore this provision should be upheld. That's your
That's correct.
So this is really an additional argument in support of your submission that 6A is valid. So we can argue that when
Because union has been supporting, Malad's, the 6.
Yes, yes, Manoj, we are not.
Is supporting.
likewise for 9 also, Mr. Solicitor, your 9 is subsumed. So we will not stop you from arguing that. You can certainly
Yes.
argue that.
Please, sir.
Submission.
Respect, which was framed by the reference judgment issue number 12. If your lordships would kindly have that as very important, my lord.
What is that?
My lord, reference judgment, my lord. My lord, it's 2015 3 SCC page 1.
वो दे दो जरा.
Yes. Can I make one submission, my lord?
Yeah,
The
let's
issues
just, he's just getting. Or 2015 नहीं है. No problem.
2015, yes.
3 SCC page 1.
I've told him now.
Indicated in page 26 of the report.
Just one second. Let my learned brother.
Well, para 13 is minus 26. Just to give an idea, my lord, what were the original issues?
This issue.
Whether Article 10 and 11 of the Constitution of India permit enactment of Section 6A of the Citizenship Act, in as much as Section 6A in prescribing a cut-off date different from the cut-off date prescribed in Article 6, can do so without variation of Article 6 itself, regard in particular being had to phraseology of Article 4 to read with Article 368(1). Whether 6A violates Article 325 and 326 of the Constitution, in that it has diluted the political right of the citizens of the state of Assam. What is the scope of the fundamental right contained in Article 29(1)? Is the fundamental right absolute in its terms? In particular, what is the meaning of the expression culture and expression conserved, whether Section 6A violates Article 29(1)? Whether Section 6A violates Article 355, what is the true interpretation of Article 355 of the Constitution? Would an influx of illegal migrants into a state of India constitute external aggression and or internal disturbance? Does the expression state occurring in this article refer only to territorial region, or does it also include the people living in the state, which would include their culture and identity? Whether 6A violates Article 14 in that it singles out Assam from other border states, which comprise a distinct class and discriminates against it. Also, whether there is a rational basis for having a separate cut-off date for regularizing illegal migrant who enter Assam as opposed to the rest of the country. Whether Section 6A violates Article 21 in that lives and personal liberty of the citizens of Assam are affected adversely by massive influx of illegal migrants from Bangladesh. Whether delay is a factor that can be taken into account in multiple relief under petition filed under Article 22 of the Constitution. Whether after a large number of migrants from East Pakistan have enjoyed rights as citizens of India for over 40 years, any relief can be given in the petition filed in the present cases. Whether 6A violates the basic premise of the Constitution and Citizenship Act in that it permits citizens who have allegedly not lost their citizenship of East Pakistan to become deemed citizens of India, thereby conferring dual citizenship to such persons. Whether 6A violates the fundamental basis of Section 5(1) proviso and Section 5(2) of the Citizenship Act, in that it permits a class of migrants to become deemed citizen of India without any reciprocity from Bangladesh and without taking the oath of allegiance to the Indian Constitution. Whether immigration expulsion from Assam Act 1950 being a special enactment.
Actually, we've seen those issues. Many of these issues are really shades of the same. They are actually submissions.
Yes.
May I suggest?
Why it is
One second.
constitutional.
I was
So
trying.
We'll not stop any members of the bar from arguing any of these issues. For instance, the 21 argument, the 14 argument, the statutory argument. But those are really the delay. Those are arguments which we'll consider.
That is the position, my lord, we are satisfied.
We'll not
At
hear
the
it.
moment, we are recasting issues to make it more focused, that's all, brothers. That's all, nothing more than that.
So, but rest assured, once, the only thing which we would now request is that the council on one side may decide who's going to argue which point, so that there's no repetition there.
That we will.
My lord, I was the petitioner in the lead case, that is All Assam Sannmilita Mahasangh.
So if all the learned counsel for the petitioners could sit together
We'll do that.
and distribute the issues between themselves so that there'll be no overlap, that's all.
That will do.
And likewise, on
this side
of the respondents, once you know also what the learned attorney general is going to argue, then perhaps, so that there's no overlap, only to save judicial time and,
My lord, from the petitioner side, myself and Mr. Shamdevan will be there.
all right, both of you are arguing. And what about Mr. Sibil and,
They are all respondents.
oh, I see.
In one of the order, lordship has showed my London friend as having appeared for the petitioner. On the first day.
You, both of you decided who will argue what.
Yes.
Otherwise,
Mr.
There will be no overlapping, my lord.
Testing will be for the respondents.
Yes,
Oh, I see.
Mr. Dave is.
yes, we will be.
And Mr. Dave also. And this, and the attorney?
Where is the attorney, Lord?
No, what about, what would be?
Lord, we will, Lord, accordingly adjust, Lord.
what will be, what will be your stand? Opposing your petition or responding?
So at what
You
point will you
support-
argue? The petitioners will argue first.
Yes, Lord.
Then should we ask the other respondents to
So,
respond
my lord,
first?
then
or
we would like to, my lord.
Well, I think that the government first must respond to that
let
and
the
then we will
government,
respond.
fair enough. So that the government, then that will be the order. The petitioners will argue first, then the government will respond, and then all of you can then.
Correct. Well, that will also make, if the government responds and we are supporting them, our arguments will be short then.
Yes,
That's why
exactly.
we waste the court's time.
That's right.
Millets, there is one more issue. I'm sorry, Millets, I'm just, let's me just,
Supporting the validity
Millets,
affidavit.
there's one more issue, Millets. 6A is silent on the citizenship of the descendants of Millets, those people who had come prior to 71. So, Millets, I had filed an application, Millets, in this matter, in the lead matter. Millets, basically about Millets to determine the citizenship of the descendants, because we would argue that every person born in India will not include descendants of people who are illegal migrants. That would only include descendants of people who are citizens of India or who stayed legally, like refugees or.
All right, we'll consider that.
So that, no, I just wanted to tell you, Lord, this.
All
That
that
application was converted to a writ petition.
Then we can take.
Well, let's.
301
Page
What?
4 of the-
Yes.
Let's kindly have a.
Plus that writ petition has been referred,
Want Samiran?
that's Deepak Kumar Nath. That is the-
Samiran, what do you want? An
Agree.
application or what? What do you want?
Millers, that issue can be framed.
That's part of it. We have already. Part
That
of
is interpretation of section 3.
Actually, look at page 4 of the submissions that we have given to your lordships, Malad. And paragraph 5.
So that again depend upon what your lordship decides on 6A.
Prior to getting to smart, their status, their entitlements.
Correct, because that's an issue that will arise. And well, it's,
That would involve.
depending on how your lordships decide on 6A.
Right, because that's consequential.
That's the only thing. Nothing.
All right, so we'll keep it now at this.
Yes.
So that we'll today, I believe today we'll not be able to start this matter.
Yes.
We'll keep it some other day.
Yeah.
This is 501. So we have now formulated the issue. We'll just indicate the time schedule for hearing this matter a little later, once we know, what is following.
Yes,
some
and
of
the
the other
date and a
matters.
time schedule.
Yes, date and a time.
Deeply applied.
Also, you're right. So let's say that within what period will you file the compilations and the written submissions?
1 week.
Within a week or
2 weeks, Malas, 2 weeks.
My lord,
yes,
pursuant
the
to the
written-
earlier exercise, you have already submitted our written argument.
That's
It
what.
will have to be collated,
Okay,
paginated, etc.
May I say, my
submission.
lord, may I make a small submission, my lord? My lord, when the matters were being heard at the earlier round, my lord, some of us had filed interventions, and those interventions were filed in the lead matter with Assam Public Works. My lord, now in this new categorization, our applications, because Assam Public Works is taken in the second category.
No, it will be the lead matter, but that's the order.
will be.
Assam Public Works is in the NRC category. I saw the categorization. Would your lordship, well, I don't want to take too much of a lordship's time. Would your lordship allow us to refile the application in any of these matters? Because ultimately it's only questions of law that we need to address. We'll only support these.
Need
people.
not be.
And not, we'll not take.
Refile your application, we'll hear you. I mean,
Yes.
after the argument
all.
of the lead matters
Not
are.
file any more
Yes, ma'am.
petitions.
So that don't worry, we'll hear you.
My lord, my
we say
submission
that
is
the-
lordship will pass the order in 562, which is the lead.
The written submission.
Joint compilation, which is missing.
Submissions together with a joint compilation shall be filed within a period of 2 weeks.
But can it
Stop.
be 4 weeks? my lord?
No, that.
Everyone, my lord, there is a,
All. 4 weeks.
Will take.
because, my lord, there are,
All at 3 weeks. Karan. Only thing is that way, once the constitution bench gains momentum, then it's good that we then, sort of go on with this. So 3 weeks, let's do it.
You appointed some.
For the purpose of collating, for the purpose of preparing a common compilation of bracket 1, precedent, bracket 2, legislation, and bracket 3, documentary material, comma. Who are the two nodal counsel on your side?
Ms. Diksha Rai can be, my lord,
Ms. Diksha Rai, learned counsel, and
My lord, my friend Mr. Manish Goswami, they can do the job together.
Mr. Manish Goswami are nominated as nodal counsel.
We are already.
Stop. All the nodal counsel are requested to prepare the common compilation duly indexed and to circulate them to all the contesting, or to all the counsel appearing on behalf of the contesting parties, as well as to the court master for circulation to the judges, to the bench.
Fair enough.
Stop. This exercise shall be completed within a period of 3 weeks. We list it on exactly 3 weeks from today then. That will be, maximum what day? List on,
4 weeks from today, not 3, because we'll
it
then.
will be for hearing or for deciding?
I think then we can start hearing after 4 weeks.
Yes, absolutely.
Some few, my lord,
Seventh.
7th Feb will start.
That's fine. That's fine.
7th
Yes,
February.
fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
We'll start on the 7th Feb, so at least. That is a basic
Yes.
issue.
Because for the respondent, Fuzail UB was the counsel from our side, but his name should be added, that's all.
So there'll be 3 nodal counsel then.
Yes.
can be.
So long as 3 of you are acting in concert and
Yes, yes.
preparing soft copies, that's okay. One of the 3 can do that really and circulate it.
But if your lordship can consider, and I leave it at that, so 7, the 3rd week of February. There are not few constitution benches, but not hereafter also.
Take it on 14th.
We'll keep it on the 14th of February. 14th.
That's an auspicious day.
That's on? That's awesome. That's awesome.
I'll offer a rose to my learned friend on 14th, my lord.
Yes, yes.
On 502, your lordship should remember that I raised a preliminary issue, whether it should be referred to 7 judges or not.
Nebam
On that, we filed our written submissions. They have filed the response last night, my lords. So your lordship may fix a day because everything is complete there.
That also is complete.
Whereas in
So-
fact, your lordships had indicated on the last day that your lordships should start with Navam Revia. If your lordships feel it doesn't need to be referred, your lordships will continue with the hearing.
Yeah, that's fine.
With the other issue. That's what
I have no
had
problem.
indicated on the last.
When can we list it? Give us some date so that.
Well, as quickly as possible because the election
If
commission.
that is the other matter is on the 7th, my lords, that your lordships have.
No, 14, that's
Not the
14.
14th.
14. So after that.
No, earlier.
No, I have no difficulty. I see the convenience of the.
My request is
Earlier is-
earlier because
The solicitor,
election
after that.
Can be the week of 7th.
7th.
NCT is now opening today.
Yes,
So
yes.
NCT will go on this. week.
Yes.
So NCT will pretty much take the whole of the week of the 9th, now that yesterday's week that has started. So we can keep this either on the
Third
in
week,
the
fourth week of January.
third week of January or
That's fine.
Can it go, my lord? As I requested, my lord, there are few constitution benches before that. Therefore, I requested not 7th but 14th in Assam. Can it be after 14th?
Well, there is a problem there. Well, the election commission proceedings are going.
Mr.
Well,
Mehta.
I don't want.
Mr. Mehta, as Mr. Sibil has said, 14 is a very auspicious day. All of you should be at your home rather than here.
We should be, my lord.
Yes, I know. But sometimes they ask us to come here instead.
That's the gift they expect from us, my lord.
do is we can start the Maharashtra, Hima. Maharashtra we can start. We can start the Maharashtra matter on the 14th and take up the Assam matter immediately after the Maharashtra matter then.
Very well.
Very well.
Very well. That would be better. Mal.
That would be better. Because well, there is an urgency
So
here.
we keep Maharashtra first on the 14th.
All right.
And then followed by, that will be the Assam matter.
Correct.
Immediately after that.
Yes.
Correct. We'll inform them.
Mr. Yes, just inform your colleagues that.
I'll convey, my lord, the council who came.
So the date is the same except that Maharashtra will initially be taken up on the 14th.
Deeply.
In fact,
After Maharashtra gets
my colleague, my lord, who was opposing me in Assam, told me that 14th is his wedding anniversary, but he will have to come here. I said, no, he will be happy, my lord.
That's right.
Okay. So we keep it on the 14th and then 21st and then we continue with.
But we also have, at some point, and we had raised this, sorry, I was in the other constitution bench. To what extent is the matter still alive? And which are the issues your lordship should be addressing? Because yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
We'll have to.
That's all right.
Your lordship may have to start from there.
No, we're starting with the main issue, whether it should be 7 to 7 judges or not.
Then whether that issue is purely academic or whether it's.
That matter will have to
Anyway,
be
if
argued.
we are pressing for a reference, we'll hear both sides of that. So that now is, so Maharashtra then 14. We start
14th.
Maharashtra on the 14th.
Yes.
We'll hold it down so that we'll again, we will organize our respective sitting lists accordingly.
Assam Act.
Some will be listed on the 14th, but to be taken up immediately after
After
Maharashtra
that,
gets.
correct, Manoj. Thank you, obliged.
Now the next matter should be,
501 and then
yes.
50.
Up next matter,
Item 503.
Wait, please, Umar.
Great for NCT.
NCT now.
NCT.